Hello, hello, hello. All right. It's 4:30. Most of you all are at home. Anyways, it's Friday. Or if you're still at work counting down the minutes to 5, you're not doing too much. So come on. But no, seriously. I've been hopping on as I'm prompted when I am led to share something. And I really do believe that turning 40, and we know that 40 is the year of testing, it's the year of permanence. And so turning 40 on Christmas, I'm special. Most people do know that it's my birthday. My birthday's on Christmas, but if you did not know, your girl's unique. But it goes hand in hand with what I want to just share with you just briefly about authenticity. So let me do this. Okay. I'm going to read it exactly. Okay. All righty. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, we thank God that it is also, it feels great on this Friday. Can't complain. All right, so let me read this. Authenticity. Authenticity means the quality of being real, genuine, or true to oneself. I'm going to read that again. The quality of being real, genuine, or true to oneself. Another definition from Berkeley says authenticity is the practice of matching your outward actions with your inner values, self-awareness, personal beliefs, rather than bending to outside pressure or social expectations. Okay, so we have one definition, the quality of being real, genuine, or true to oneself. And then another definition, the practice of matching your outward actions with your inner values, self-awareness, or personal beliefs, rather than bending to outside pressure or social expectations. Okay, I can literally just end the live right there. Just right there alone. But so there, 4 people came to my mind today about this. And one person in a negative sense, but still positive. But Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, her most recent podcast about mind your business, I would encourage everyone to watch that. And there's this young lady from Blythe, my hometown, and she shared a live about how people should be treated, especially by those who call themselves saints, and how the church is, how responsive or the lack of compassionate response and embracing of those that are not in the church. And then I thought about my daughter, Tori. Today, what do all of these women have in common? So from my baby to my hometown, the hairdresser, she braids my hair sometimes, and then Pastor Sarah Jakes, is that I looked at how authentic these individuals are. I mean, at the end of the day, I do not care if it is snowing outside. At the core of my baby girl, she will be outside running because she knows her goal and her purpose. She will be outside working out, and you cannot change that. I don't care if we are on vacation. She is true to herself that no one can compromise her workout schedule because she is not moved by, again, the second definition, the outward actions, because of her inner value. I look at Pastor Sarah Jakes, how I will not even front. When she first started ministering, you can ask my sister. I used to like her. I liked her. I've always liked her. And then I would say, like, she's a little bit motivational. I need more scripture. That's my truth. But let me tell you, I stuck beside her, and you can see her growth. But she has always been that speaker and that deliverer that is authentic and real. It's a nuck if you buck, but I'll pray you down type of delivery, and I love it. She refined herself, right? And she grew, and she's back in school. And I also believe with the alignment with Pastor Torre and her maturity, all those things worked. And then my girl from Belial, she is so real and authentic. And at one point, I will say, there were people that I used to maybe get, I would say, jealous of. I don't know, between jealous. Yeah, I would say that, because I was like, not those three I mentioned. There were other people, though, who act any type of way. And maybe because I'm an eldest child, and so eldest children tend to kind of follow a pattern of dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, right? So let me get deep into landing my plane or soaring in the message, whichever way. I would get upset that people would be them. If they were supposed to be quiet in the room, they were going to be obnoxious no matter what. If we were having a conversation and I just felt like it was too disrespectful, of depending on who they're talking about, they were just going to let loose. Even how I would get treated. And I'm not saying that I've never treated anyone, out of character or anything. I'm saying that, have you ever been around people who just don't care? It's not even based on any moral compass or values. It's just their own self-preservation, and they don't care. But in that, you see, they are authentically them. And then you really conform. Well, let me just say me. Not even conform, but you learn to cope with the messiness of their authenticity. And I know what that is and have done for years, because you also, or let me just say me, when you have struggled over the years to make people feel comfortable because they have put their limitations on you. So if they are short, I'm tall. Used to be a time that I was conscious of wearing heels, because again, they were authentic enough and bold enough to share how their lack or limit, and once they share that, you should conform or take in consideration and then alter and structure you. And that is a very simple example, but it can translate into so many things. That how do you deal and how do you walk in authenticity? And especially when it will sometimes come head to head with someone else's discomfort. It took, and it's taken, and I'm on a journey. Well, and most people will probably think, well, you will speak your mind, or you will move forth with an initiative, all of these things. But for years, I have dealt with consideration of other people, that because they're quiet and I'm loud, and maybe I should lower my volume. Because I like to accessorize, and people, say that I can never do that. So maybe I should stop wearing this. I love to wear a good, component on my blazers or something. And I'm talking, these are little things, but I will share how they can lead to the big things. Because then those compromises, when you don't walk in who God has uniquely made you, you then begin to compromise on purpose. You then begin to compromise on the call that God has for you, the business that you are supposed to launch, the book that you are supposed to write. You begin to give way, that if you are supposed to write about AI and social media, then people will tell you, well, there's 1,000 people that are doing that. And so you're like, you're right. Maybe I should just do this or have this workshop at my job. You begin to start compromising things because, again, you are going against the grain of being real, genuine, or true to self. And I used to get so upset that people were so comfortable at being them. Sometimes I'm like, you are all the way wrong. But I didn't allow the integrity of my own convictions to say, or to just stand against it, not even having to combat it. And it could also be in a very, what we think, positive way. I have people right now that will say, as a business owner, nonprofits, and, and different things of how I should present myself and how I should come and service, because people will strategically try to define who you are to their advantage with your influence, with your intelligence, with your connections. People have a way, and again, maybe this is their own self-preservation, of wanting to twist and turn, how you are supposed to be, so they can thrive, but on your own self-compromising. I recognize God has placed me into a very unique space of faith and family and politics. And I have wrestled, I will tell you, the last couple of years, wrestled with, who is Shanquetta? If you don't clap for me, if I don't get another award, if all the outside things, going back to the second definition of the practice of matching your outward actions with your inner values, self-awareness, and personal beliefs, rather than bending to outside pressure, because people will tell you who you need to be. But who was the real you? And I shed some tears today because this has been a journey for me personally. Because it's, especially if you're gifted, and God has given you a grace, we don't talk about it enough. The other side of the pressure that comes to that. How people will question your own integrity. If you're out in public, are you, are you doing well with your children, and are you doing too much? And if you're with your children, are you not professional business enough? All of these things, when being authentic and say, I will do these things according to how God wants me to do them, and for the people that God has called me to do them for, and however that strategy is, it may not look like what it should look like for you. But if God is not correcting me, then being mindful that wisdom and accepting wisdom and advice is fine. I promise you, I have mentors. But you also have to know that nothing should ever overcome what God is saying for you to do and how to do it. Nothing should overcompensate that. And so if you've been struggling with, man, am I showing up as me? Then I'm going to encourage you to, as long as you know you honor God, as long as you know you're not disrespecting your family and your parents, as long as you know that you are doing it for people, you won't do it perfectly, but do it uniquely you. Do it how God says for you to do it, because other people are doing it their way. And sometimes without all of trying to be perfect, but just being them. And sometimes we can be so smart that we're really we act unintelligently when it comes to our identity. We overthink it. We overplay it. I've been there. We can say like, I'm supposed to make this logo color green. And then one person comes along and says something different, and we don't know how to say it. Like, you've gotten that color, it's your favorite color, it's your grandma's favorite color. And then we'll just change it because we just don't know how to be authentically real, like just us. And accepting that as long as God has given us breath in our bodies, that we may not, again, be perfect, but we're us. And God considers us unique and chosen and set apart. And he uses our unique personalities for his kingdom agenda. I'm tall. I am loud. God gives me a lot of opinions to share. Lord, and wisdom, I know. So I just want to encourage you on this Friday. Be authentically you. Be authentically you. You don't need permission because people weren't even there. It's out of 2 people, but then it was God's decision to say, hey, time for you to come into the earth. And we give a lot of conference calls to divine purpose. And it's hurting us. And we're getting mad at other people for showing up as themselves and getting lost in the sauce because we can't find our way. Because we're not being us. I know what that is. And I'm thankful to be growing from that. And it's taken me a couple of years and I'm still growing in that. But I'm so grateful that God has me on this path. So be you. Who does God need you to become? Not like anyone else. For his glory. Who does your family need you to be for them according to how God has given you to them and them to you? I have 5 children. I can never walk into a place and just be boring. I don't like quiet spaces. I don't like quiet events. My life always has this. And so I'm walking in there like that, and it's just authentically you, and great things happen when you're you. So y'all have a good Friday. Be you, because you are great and amazing. God didn't make a mistake. You're called, you're chosen, you're his own. You were supposed to be here, because if he decided to make a different decision, you would not even be watching this live, nor would I be here. That's enough to be authentic. Y'all have a good day.